Hey guys, what's up? It's me again, Shanerator, and you might be asking, what's up? Well, let me tell you, definitely part of my hair. More specifically towards the back, where the swirly part of the hair is. The reason it's like that is because I didn't style it very well today. In fact, I didn't style it at all. And I didn't shave. Two reasons. Number one, because I'm lazy, and number two, because it's relevant to the topic of this video. Have you guys ever gotten a haircut somewhere? Don't answer that, because there's only one answer. Yes. Me, like pretty much all other humans, have gone out to the barber quite a few times. I would venture to say many times. And it's always kind of an interesting experience. There I am, waking up one day, realizing that my hair is somewhat unkempt, coming down to the nape of my neck. That's usually the indicator for guys that you need to get your hair cut. That is, if you're a guy that likes short hair. I would love to have my hair grow long like Thor from the Marvel Universe, but my hair is not designed that way. And here's why. Because the longer I grow out my hair, it's almost counterintuitive. Instead of growing down like you think it would, it actually grows up. So the longer my hair grows, it turns almost into like a sort of horrible amalgamation of like a shrubbery and an afro. I mean, I have like little tufts of hair that stick out everywhere. If Ripley's Believe It or Not had kind of a spin-off magazine series that featured weird and wacky hairstyles, I would be on the cover of one of those issues. It would probably be a bestseller. In other words, I'm a short hair guy. So I wake up one day, my hair is all kind of woo! And I did some calculations. I went to my toolbox and pulled out pliable tailor tape measure they use for measuring whether or not clothes can fit on you properly. And I put it around my neck, did some math, and realized, I think it is time for a haircut. So I get in my car, make the drive, and go to Great Clips. I pull into the parking lot. I open the door. I see the little screen they have that has the names of different people that have already reserved their place in line using their fancy smartphone app. It's crazy to imagine that even haircutting places have their own app, where I can just pull up the app on my phone and be like, hey, I want to get my hair cut, and you better be ready by the time I get there. Because I don't like waiting 10 minutes with all these other shaggy-haired people to get my hair cut. I don't blame them. But I still don't use the app. Every Great Clips that I've been to has like this bundle of magazines that are just kind of chock full of all these hairstyles that are impossible for a guy like me to ever have in the course of my lifetime. So usually what ends up happening is I open the magazine, I flip through a few pages, allow my heart to sink when I realize that my hair will never be as good as these guys in the magazine. Close it, set it to the side, and by that point, they call my name. They lead me to one of the chairs that kind of lines the wall. Those really cool rotating chairs. I love those chairs. They're super comfortable. Kind of like the shopping mall massage chairs, except all the massage is kind of directed at the top of your head, as the vibrations of the haircut are kind of tap against your head. Because for me, it's kind of a relaxing experience. But then your hairstylist sits you down, and they put that giant cloak around your neck. They winch it up really tight. You feel like you're choking, then they whip you around and make you look at the mirror. You're not really looking at your reflection. You're kind of admiring the fact that you look like a creature from the Black Lagoon with that giant black cloak that drapes to the ground. Your thought process is interrupted by the barber. Hello there, Shanerator. How are you doing today? Good? Great! We see here in our records that we cut your hair about 2 months ago, is that correct? Yeah, sure, I think so. Great! And last time we did your hair, we did a size 11 on the top of your head, a size 5.2 on your sides, and a 7 on the back with slight bangs in the front. Does that sound correct? Yeah, sure. Great! And that's basically how every conversation starts when I sit down and talk to a barber. I endeavor to start conversation with them because, for the most part, they're human, and some of them like to engage in conversation. Not all of them. And if they do, it's usually a pretty superficial discussion that we have. One of my favorite things to bring up is all of those seemingly arbitrary numbers they bring up when it comes to cutting hair. I'm just like, what does a size 7 mean? They're like, oh, the size 7 is equivalent to blah, 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 some sort of scientific equation where the size 7 equals 3 metric inches, 26 formula, centimeters, math, numbers, and I ask this every single time. That way I can sort of remember how they cut my hair last time, and then ask for the same type of cut next time that I come in. I never remember the numbers. And that's probably why I've never had a super consistent haircut. So after that initial attempt at trying to strike up conversation, they usually go with something like, doing anything fun today? To which I respond, yeah, I'm here. I'm getting my hair cut. So by that point, I usually kind of give up trying to strike up conversation, as it usually just makes things more and more awkward. One of my favorite things about Great Clips is that when I go, it seems that it is relatively slow, like there's not a whole lot of people there. And as a result, they're somewhat understaffed, usually to the effect of 2 or 3 hair cutters that are actually in the store. Then you hear that or the boop boop, indicating that someone had walked in the door. It seems to me that every time that happens, my hairstylist is the one to abandon me. Don't worry, sir, I'll be right back. Okay. And then I look right in the mirror, and then usually I see the stuff of nightmares. Because glancing into the mirror, I can see my half-done hair is usually like half cut on the side of my head, bangs are still kind of hanging over. So then after 2 minutes of staring at the monstrosity that's in the mirror, my stylist will come back and resume where she left off. And then it's around this phase of the haircut that I start to feel a little lethargic. Because between you and me, I find haircuts very relaxing. There are a select few things that I consider kind of relaxing. For me, it's playing Fallout 4 or eating wild combinations of snack food. My latest one is probably those trolly sour gummy eggs combined with wavy Lay's chips. The variance in flavors really balances out. And sometimes sleeping I also find really relaxing as well. And one of the biggest things that kind of induces a sense of solace within me would definitely be haircuts. I don't know, something about the vibrations on my head from the haircutting, slowly moving it back and forth, it has this weird effect on me. My vision starts to blur, and the oscillating motions of my head almost make you want to fall asleep. 1 out of 3 things usually happens. Number 1, I realize that it is not a good time to fall asleep subconsciously and I jerk myself awake. Number 2, I get awoken by the hair cutter trying to make another weird attempt at striking up conversation. And then I usually end up saying something like, good. Or number 3, I will actually start to fall asleep, and then it's at that point when the hairstylist's voice goes from gentle to downright vitriolic. It's like a contained form of malice. But if I actually do nod off, this is what tends to happen. Excuse me, sir, would you mind putting your head up a little further so I can access those parts of your head, which I normally can't access if you're leaning super far away from me due to falling asleep? I'm paraphrasing. They say something like that, maybe not exactly those words. But then I usually jerk awake, they finish their haircut, and then by that point, I've got just bits and pieces of hair follicles all over my face and up my nose and in my eyes, basically every orifice from here on up. And it's always weird to me how a lot of that hair somehow finds its way into different parts of my shirt. That cloak is supposed to act as sort of a shield to prevent hair from actually reaching the parts of your body that is below your neck. Doesn't always work. To this day, I still have t-shirts where I feel bits of prickly hair inside the sleeves and on the top of my shirt, even years after I've gotten my haircut while wearing that shirt. So by this point, we're reaching the end of the haircutting process. They usually ask me, so sir, how does this look for you? They hold up that little tiny mirror that's about 6 inches by 6 inches. So as a result, I usually just say something like, oh, it looks great. Even though I can't really see what's going on behind my head. But yes, overall, great clips. I like him. The hair cutters, it's kind of a hit or miss. For me, it's one of the most stressful yet relaxing experiences of my life. Stressful in the sense that I'm supposed to maintain this facade of being a normal guy who wants to strike up normal conversation, and relaxing in the sense that once you go over that berm of discomfort, you reach this plateau of being sleepy, which then is quickly countered by another onslaught of discomfort when I get told not to fall asleep. It's almost like this back and forth yo-yo type process that takes place. It's very stressful to be a client for a hair cutter, and I'd say they do decent work. And if you're watching this Great Clips hair cutters, it's not your fault. It's my freaking head that loves to grow like a shrubbery and an afro combined. Okay, there's my hair rant for the day. I think at this point, I'm just gonna download the Great Clips app and just put in that description of how I want my hair cut. Maybe it'll come out consistent. Probably not.